most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Jack to the test!
Hi there guys, hope you are all well and have a brilliant start to the week. Welcome into another session, market update video for you today. A couple of reasons I wanted to do this for you. We are mainly going to concentrate on Bitcoin and the very key levels we have coming up in the next 24-48 hours, okay? And also YouTube has a new language dubbing mix. I'm hoping that is updated on this video as well. Go to your settings while you're watching the video and see if you can change the language for me and then comment. Thank you very much. Okay, so look, where are we? Where have we come from? And where we're potentially going. So yeah, since the end of last week, we've been looking for a squeeze up on big boy Bitcoin from these nice demand levels that we were seeing towards the end of the week. We cut under 100k, you know, just tapped into that 99k zone and then rose up. And then since then, as price got back above 100k, volume started to build, demand started to build, depth of book was back. It was all looking good in the hood. So if you followed on Twitter or on any of the live sessions last week, we were looking good, trying to keep everyone updated. Crypto Sunday service, big boy Bitcoin still looking like it wants to squeeze up. If you bid the lows last week, you are positioned correct, okay? The books were a little bit messy into the weekend as usual, a little bit of shenanigans going on, okay? But yeah, for me, 110k could offer a large supply zone near the weekly and monthly low open. So we're going to have a look at that with you today. All right, so OI steady, volume potentially bullish because I say that yeah, I'm still going to treat this as a squeeze until proven different, you know. Considering the recent price action, we need to be aware of, is this going to be a macro lower high as we move up into that potential 106, then to 108 and 110 zones? We need to be aware of that. Sunday pump, not 100% sure, obviously, but position that way. Okay, everything was looking good, and as we know, if you're watching this video, we have moved up. A couple of other things, obviously, could be a show me the chart, I'll tell you the news moment, okay? Breaking US Senate to vote on ending the government shutdown within the hour. I wonder if we get any resolution on that today. I don't think it is fully resolved yet. So yeah, basically looking for a squeeze over the last 24 hours into the weekend. I think if you were positioned correctly, you could have sat on your hands and done nothing, as I think the price action was suggesting that, you know, if you're long from the lows, let it go. Just absolutely let it go. Yeah, but yeah, keeping everyone updated in the WHOP as well. We did a live session in our Trade Pit WHOP last week for members, and that was the plan last week, okay? Dip into this zone a little bit, look for longs, and then we're going to bounce up. First zone of interest we are just getting here now, 106, and then can we squeeze up a little bit higher into that 110 gate? Okay, so looking at that for everyone on the WHOP. Also, if you want to get involved with a little bit more in-depth education analysis on how I trade the markets with the TRDR console, free trial below for the console as well. Okay, access to the TRDR alpha traders in here as well, and that was just yesterday morning. B2C squeeze soon. If you're watching DK's live streams that he does twice a week on here as well, end of last week live stream, I jumped in on that one, and DK, just to check we were on the same wavelength, to be honest, which generally me and DK do tend to be on the same wavelength more often than not. Yeah, DK bullish on BTC last week and a couple of other lots, looking for that squeeze up, the same as myself. So if you want to get involved in here, check out the Academy link below as well. Lots of good free stuff in there. Okay, docs page is absolutely brilliant, but if you want to know how I trade the market with the TRDR console, jump into the Art of Data-Driven Market Analysis course. All right, guys, so yeah, nice squeeze up, everything pretty much going to plan at the minute. Not particularly bullish, not particularly bearish, going to be an absolutely mercenary trader. So what I want to do today with you on this market update, and I'll say this, we will do a live session again this week. We'll do a public live session, and then for the members in our WHOP, we will do a private live session as well, okay? A little bit more in-depth on that WHOP trade pit group, entries, exits, trade setups, and the like, okay, guys? So look, nice squeeze up. Where are we going from here? I think what we need to do with you all, and I will keep this as precise and as quick as possible, but I want to go through a few classic TA levels, okay? So we're going to do that. We're going to have a look at TradingView, then we're going to jump into the Trader Console. Let's do that now. Right, just jumping into TradingView, then we can obviously see that stock market is a little bit mixed. Probably all waiting on a little bit of news, a little bit of volatility that's potentially going to come from that US government opening. If it does open and if the Democrats get their fucking assholes in gear, a little bit mixed, probably a little bit mixed after a lot of earnings calls last week as well, especially on the growth stocks. Okay, so tech stocks were the week before, growth stocks last week. So yeah, a little bit mixed. Everything's been up only for months, hasn't it, anyway? I know last week when everyone was getting bearish, Nvidia, Tesla, Nasdaq, E-mini futures, we're all just filling gaps, to be honest. Yeah, chill bears, you might be a little bit early. Okay, so look, top down on BTC, where have we come from and where we're potentially going? So here's our weekly chart. We're in a little bit of a battle now. We are in a little bit of a battle for lower lows. Okay, it has to be said. I'm not going to get bearish or bullish right here, right now. The structure on the weekly chart still looks nice if we can push up a little bit further. I'm not going to call for absolute moon and all-time highs yet because I know we've got a few obstacles to overcome on BTC here. Okay, one thing to say on the weekly chart, if you've seen me pull up this before and do a top-down analysis, I've actually just got rid of the weekly 21, the OG indicator, the weekly 21. And I've just dropped on here a simple moving average, 50-week moving average. Okay, so yeah, you'll probably see this on crypto Twitter timelines now and again. But it does actually pull a little bit of confluence with the lower time frame charts as well, the daily and the 4 hour. Okay, so where is that coming in now? So we can see that we've wicked below, grabbed that liquidity under 100k, and we've just reclaimed it now. Where is it coming in there? 50-week moving average. Yeah, you could call it 103, 103.5k. Okay, so yeah, what I might do is I think you could also just pull that up as well. So weekly, if you're unfamiliar with how to read it, okay, if you just hover on the actual candle, so this is this week candle, and then look at the top left here. Okay, so weekly open 104.772. I'm just going to drop that there for now. Okay, so I think this zone is now going to be a little bit of importance. So 50-week moving average and weekly open coming in at that 104k zone. So for me personally now, I'm just looking at this zone to hold, okay, on the weekly chart. Above us though, we are going to be fighting a little bit of resistance, okay. We're just finding a little bit of resistance now, and this is a European session, okay, low volume European session, so that doesn't surprise me. But I think the bigger levels are still going to come in. Look at this, okay, just nice classic TA. You've got a few weeks back, maybe a couple of months ago, you've got that level there at 108. Okay, but a little bit more recent confluence here, 108.5, okay? Bigger confluence and bigger resistance, I still believe, are going to come in around that 10 mark, okay? Just up there. And let's dive down a level and see why. Daily chart. Okay, so I think we're all familiar that we've been trending up absolutely forever. The only thing we've got here is the potential for breaking this daily chart trend on BTC. And what you also need to be aware of is, yes, we've come from a good demand zone, but more often than not, when you break these trends, whatever asset it is, right, it could be anything, stock market, bonds, forex, anything. More often than not, when you break these trend lines, you often then get almost this kind of like squeeze bounce, okay, to retest those zones as confirmation of supply or any more sellers, and then roll over. So I'm fully aware of that, okay, in this level that we are hitting now. What other confluence do we have here for this little bit of resistance we've got right here, right now? On the daily chart, okay, that is our value area low of this range pull, okay, from where we broke down and broke the trend from the point of control. So I'm fully aware that this is a little bit of a sticky area and we may not potentially get an automatic bounce straight through it, okay. One thing to say is if you are going to roll over, okay, you've got the monthly VWAP right down here, just close to where that 50-week moving average is, okay. Daily open, weekly open, 104.772, okay. Very nice, okay. I still think we can squeeze up a little bit further. So I think there's potential for a bit of this today, but then I think we can squeeze up a little bit further and potentially hit those zones. The reason being is I'm seeing most supply in the BTC market is lying a little bit higher, okay. So that's going to be where the monthly open is, 1096. What else do we have up there? We've got the point of control of that range as well, okay. So we do have a higher order block there at 116, and I have seen some big limit offers in the books up there, but I'm not going to take that into consideration yet. I just, you know, as a mercenary sharpshooting trader, I just want to consider this level, and I want to consider that level. If we start blasting through, that's great, but if we start to hit heavy supply in these zones, bear in mind this is just a daily chart, we're going to have to zoom in a second. If we start to hit supply in these zones, I'm going to have no fear about taking profit on the longs from these lows, okay, and then shorting the market back down, yeah? 4 hour chart, we'll just see a little bit more confluence going on here. So 4 hour chart, here's our range, okay? What can we see? We've just got that daily trend here that I'm, broken, question mark, okay? We're just battling that zone now. We're just battling the value area low of this range where we broke down, okay? This was our last demand zone. A couple of, I'm not going to call them poor lows there because I know we did come from demand, but a little bit of confluence down there if we get any flush in the next few weeks or months. Not thinking that too far ahead though. So yeah, here we go, look. Daily, weekly open. Do you get a little bit of tomfoolery around here today? Maybe volley back down, or it could just be a case of holding that trend line there, okay? So I'm going to get rid of that because I know where the levels are. But yeah, here's your first point of resistance. You can see we're just tapping into it now. Little bit of supply hitting this morning as we wake up in this European session. But yeah, even if we start to fall a little bit into this 104 region again, I'm not too worried actually. If you're risk on and long from down here, I wouldn't be too worried yet. Yeah, okay, we'll obviously assess the data as we go because I think that supply lies a little bit high. So there you go, 4 hour point of control, big fat 4 hour order block, and the monthly open at 1096 there, okay? So as easy as that is, okay, it's very nice to draw magic lines on a chart. It doesn't move price. What moves price? Bid and ask. What is the best data source to view the bid and ask and the order flow? The trader TRDR console. Let's dive into that now.
Well, in my book, you either do it right or you get eliminated.
Right then, Trader Console. I just want to run through all the key data points that I am seeing today for you. I think it's very, very important to do that. So obviously on the chart here, you can just see I've got the levels drawn here. You can just see that 4 hour value area low resistance that we are just finding now. But if you look at the actual pure raw data, there's not a great deal of supply on us here. So I'm very open to coming back down. Okay, I've just got that weekly open mark there, 104.772. I'm very open to coming back down here, okay, and just testing some of this zone and then volleying back up. I would not short this zone, knowing it's a classic tier resistance, without the order flow, okay, without the order flow suggesting that we've got heavy supply here, okay. And what are we seeing? What are we seeing a little bit higher, okay? So where is the biggest offer coming in? Right here, right now, 110. Where is that? Monthly open, range POC, value area high, and those are the offers that I was saying that I saw a little bit earlier. Okay, so 115 and 116. I'm not too fussed about them yet. This is the next zone for me. So little bit of messing about here, little bit of Monday price auction around here, but yeah, eventually in the next 24-48 hours I want to see this monthly open and I want to test these bears up here. Okay guys, look, we've come from very, very nice depth, book depth from last week, okay, into the weekend, over a billion aggregated book depth. Very, very nice. Okay, we've still got a little bit of demand in the OBC there. Depth of the book is not bad, right? Okay, so it's fallen to 350, 340 million. Okay, that will happen. People often say, oh, we've risen up and the book depth's gone. Yeah, no shit, because price has moved away from those bids. Okay, so that is what happens. Okay, a little bit of an open interest rise. Am I too fussed about that? No, not really. Okay, let's see what other confluence we can find. Okay, just before we have a look at volume. Okay, so Coinbase Pro, let me just reset that. Coinbase Pro, not much to say. They have been bid. I'm looking at USD rather than USDT. USDT tends to be a little bit in MFCA chart, okay? So a little bit of selling going in here from Coinbase Pro. They don't actually have any big offers now. You see the way they've lifted them? Okay, to that 115. Now, again, I'm not going to say we are going there right now. I'm not thinking about that. Yes, maybe US government opens, stock market goes fully risk on, and if we get rewarded by blasting through there up to here, at least we are positioned correctly from last week. Okay, we're not being amateur bears saying this needs to go to 93 or 92. Okay, don't need to fucking go anywhere. The market will do what it needs to do. Right, last week the data was saying we look for longs, we TP shorts and we look for longs, and that's where we are. Okay, another important data point to see is obviously Binance Perps, very, very big. And let me just go to last week there. Okay, we actually hit last week on the Friday, I believe that was on the Friday, we actually hit and I will zoom back in a second, a 75 bid ratio on Binance Perps. Absolutely monster bid in lows as well. So if you're seeing like Perps market get in and get bid and you've already risen 20% and you're at highs, it's not the best, okay? But if you're seeing it at lows, it's very, very good. And there, look at that depth. Yeah, 1.14 billion, low open interest into that as those zones as well. So yeah, Binance Perps, again, of course the depth has fallen away because we've pumped up price from the weekend. The only thing I would say is, and let me just go to a full window at the minute, is the OI, the open interest and the volume, I think has actually been, let me just refresh that, has actually been not too bad. That'll be my internet going. The volume and the open interest not been too bad. Let me just show you that for you. Okay, so what I was saying last week and to the guys was, look, basically you need to watch open interest here and volume. We potentially had some kind of bullish divergences last week as we hit that low as well, okay? So it wasn't the cleanest, and I don't expect it to be clean, volume and open interest here, because the price action has been a little bit choppy. We've broke down this range, but yeah, you could call this, okay, low, lower low, CVD, high, high there, okay? So bullish divergences as you had the open interest. I'm not going to harp on about this volume indicator. Go check out the Volume King video if you are interested. But then as we entered the weekend, what I was saying to a couple of guys in the WHOP is, you've got this really, really nice flat price action. And what's happening, retail traders, we're all retail, I know it's just a professional standard term though, unfortunately. Okay, trying to short the market here for some reason, trying to short or coming out of position, capitulating their longs, probably out of boredom, trying to short the market. Why are they doing that? They're expecting lower prices, okay, but with no data to back it up. So if you just expect a lower price, give me some fucking evidence to say that we are going there. Give me some data. I don't care about opinions. Just show me some data that suggests we are going there, okay? Volume, nice and steady. And this is what I was pointing out to the guys in WHOP yesterday. The volume climb yesterday, you can call this a Sunday pump, whatever you want to call it, but the actual volume from Perps, from spot, with a nice increase in open interest as well. That move is healthy. That is a healthy move. Nice volume, okay, spot and Perps, nice open interest as well, okay. Quick look at higher time frame liquidity chart with you, is chilled, look. It's chilled. Okay, so we did come from some good depth on Perps last week, but liquidity indicator chart as well. Again, I've got a video on this. Go and have a look at the Liquidity King video. Chilled, spot is chilled. We've obviously got an open interest rise as we've moved up, but yet nothing to see here, say all good in the hood. So quickly to finish off, let's just have a look at those key levels on Big Boy BTC. 15-minute chart. There you go. There is your key levels at the minute. So bid supporting price all last week, a little bit messy over the weekend to be expected, a little bit of bid following up there, okay, potentially come down to the weekly open and see how committed those bulls are to pushing us back up. But where does the biggest supply lie, okay? Up in this 110 to 111 region, okay, at that range POC where the monthly open is. If price falls a little bit lower today and you've got risk on from last week and you've got a well-executed position from last week, I think you're pretty safe. Just have a look at the weekly open around that 104. Even if we cut below there, just pre-US session and then back up. Try not to, if you are risk on long on BTC and any other assets right here, right now, try not to push too many buttons. All right, guys, we'll do a live session this week. I'll be doing a public live session. Hit notifications for that. And for anyone who is a WHOP member as well, we will be doing a private live session, okay, with a little bit more in-depth analysis. Have a great week, guys. We'll speak soon.
I bet your margins are pretty nice and fat.
Let's not talk about my margins, by the way. Being nice and fat, that's a nice shirt. Do they make it for men?
And we say bye-bye.